Happy Sunday, April 20th, Easter Sunday, Resurrection Sunday. I hope everyone has had a good day with their family and just a good time focusing on what makes today special. Jesus rose from the dead, defeating death. That's what our hope is in. Today we're going to be talking about Leviticus 20. Not quite as happy of a subject. It's about the punishments for what we talked about in chapters 18 and 19. It starts off with one of the worst things that you could do, killing your child. Any one of the people of Israel or strangers who live in Israel who gives any of his children to Moloch shall surely be put to death. The people shall stone him with stones. I will set my face against that man and will cut him off from among his people. Today in America, we have people fighting for their right to kill their own children, glorifying their right to kill their own child. We don't stone them. I'm not saying we should, but it is one of the most horrendous things that I think someone can do, to kill their own child. That was something that God said would profane his holy name, because we're all made in the image of God. Born, unborn, doesn't matter. He knows us before we leave our mother's womb. He knits us and puts us together in our mother's bodies. And to kill a baby, I think, is one of the most awful things that someone can do. If the people of the land close their eyes to that man when he gives one of his children to Moloch and do not put him to death, I will set my face against that man and against his clan and will cut them off among their people. So he's saying, if you don't take care of this, there's going to be a much bigger punishment if you don't. Next, he talks about other forms of worshiping false deities, turning to mediums and necromancers. I will set my face against that person and cut him off from among his people. Now, if you look at that, cutting someone off from among his people was a more polite way of saying he will see death. And we're going to talk about this quite a bit in this chapter, but again, the point of this wasn't punishment. It wasn't to hurt people who just did things. It was, they were supposed to be a holy people. For anyone who curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. He has cursed his father or his mother, his blood is upon him. You're supposed to honor your father or your mother. This isn't just dissing them in some way. This would have been a pretty serious act. Not just condescending language, not just abusive language, but a serious breach of not honoring your parents. And the next part of this is similar familial relationships and the punishments for those that we talked about in Leviticus 18. If a man commits adultery with the wife of his neighbor, they both shall be put to death. Father's wife, both put to death. A man lies with his daughter-in-law, both of them will be put to death. That's a perversion. If a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. A man takes a woman and her mother also, it's depravity. They should be burned with fire. If a man lies with an animal, he and the animal will be killed. A woman, the same thing. If a man takes his sister, daughter of his father or of his mother, sees her nakedness, it is a disgrace. They shall be cut off in sight of the children of their people. In a way that reminds me of how we used to have public hangings. It wasn't to make it a spectacle. It was to say, this is what the punishment is when you mess up this bad. To try to keep people in the future from making that same mistake. If a man lies with a woman during her menstrual period and uncovers her nakedness, she has uncovered the fountain of her blood. Both of them shall be cut off from among their people. I'm not sure that this is the same uncovering or cut off from among their people, death, but it could be. It seems like all of these are capital punishment or exile. And we haven't got to exile yet. These have all been capital punishment. If a man takes a sister, okay, we just talked about that. 17 and 18 that we just talked about, that could just be exile. You don't get to live among the people of God if you do these things. Don't uncover your mother's sister, your father's sister. They shall bear their iniquity. If a man lies with his uncle's wife, they shall bear their sin. They shall die childless. I was talking about being barren for the rest of your life for doing that. If a man takes his brother's wife, he has uncovered his brother's nakedness. They shall be childless. If you wanted kids, you definitely didn't want to be doing stuff like that. You shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my rules and do them, that the land where I am bringing you may live, not vomit you out. How they lived mattered. How they lived could play a part in, would the land be fruitful for them? Would they be taken over? Then, during the time of Judges, there are several times where every man did what he thought was good in his own sight. Punishment came. In a way, this was coming true. The land was vomiting them out. It got really bad during the time of the kings. Other countries took them over, carried their people away. The land was vomiting them out because they were not being holy. They were not respecting God. You shall inherit their land, and I will give it to you to possess, a land flowing with milk and honey. You shall therefore separate the clean beast from the unclean, clean bird from the unclean. You shall not make yourselves detestable by beast or bird or by anything with which the ground crawls, which I have set apart for you to hold unclean. You shall be holy to me, for I am the Lord, and have separated you from your peoples, that you should be mine. The man who is a medium or necromancer shall surely be put to death. They shall be stoned. Their blood is upon them. So the punishment, if you went and looked for one, was cut off from your people. The punishment for people doing that was death. The point was to be holy. These were supposed to be a holy people. And this is not a fun chapter to go through. This is one of those chapters where the things that are celebrated in large part today, we see what God wants from people, from his people. It's not good. Today in America, we live very differently from this. Well, from how we're supposed to. Some of us seem to want to enjoy that kind of thing. That's how depraved we have become. That's how far from God we have come. Christians, we need to speak up. Give people hope. That's all we have. Let's try to do that a little bit this week.